All right. This is wedge cut. It's one of my garbage pieces from chainsaw carving. This is first growth cedar, first growth western red cedar. What I mean when I say first growth is it was not planted by man. It was planted by like a seedling fell off a tree and then it grew in an unlogged forest. All right, so then it was cut down one day and whatever, or broken down from windstorm and washed along the river and made it to my way. So usually the first growth trees, or people call them like Ryan Cook calls it old growth cedar, but I say first growth. You can tell by the rings. So you see these rings. Here's a cent. Here would be the center of the tree. See the rings there? The growth ring. So that's 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 years old. So the tree would be like this big at 10 years old. This piece that I got in my hand here, this is a piece from the big pieces that my buddy helped me get with their tractors along the Fraser River. The video is like a week old now. This piece, I put my magnifier lens on. This piece, just this little section right here, is 190 years old of the tree. I put on my magnifiers, like I said, and I counted the rings. 190 years old. Look how tight those rings are. So I prefer myself to carve tight growth cedar because you get better details. It holds the details better. Well, first growth cedar. And anyways, let's just carry on. 190 years old. Can you believe that? Can you believe this? My grandpa maybe even cut this tree down. He was a logger. So this piece here, what we're going to do here, it's going to be a very simple carving. Anybody can do it. So I can see here that this piece broke off already, okay? So what I'm going to do, go like this, draw a line. I wouldn't draw, and I'm going to cut this all off with my Fordham because, well, it's, you know, you don't want to have a finished piece and then somebody puts it down like this, right? And then that piece breaks off. So I'm going to round this off with my Fordham first. And then we're going to draw a simple cabin on here, you know, and then maybe some trees, maybe a chimney, some smoke going up here. Just something really simple. You don't have to have a wedge cut like this. You could use like a fence board or whatever you want to do. But this video is going to be called, it's going to be about layering the carvings, as Ben's studio on the lake likes to talk about. Hi, Ben. I just carved Rob. How you guys doing? So as I already mentioned, I'm going to be using my Fordham. This is the industrial flex shaft and the industrial handpiece. Okay, so it's a square drive. If you want to get the industrial flex shaft right here, the square drive, you have to get the industrial handpiece too. And I got it hooked up to the Fordham SR series, okay? So, and this is a Kutzall bit, extreme. So the in this one Fordham handpiece, you get the handpieces come in 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch. 1/8 is the same as Dremel. But this is the 1/4 inch. So make sure if you want to upgrade to the Fordham, if you want to do the bigger burrs, you get the 1/4 inch handpiece. Okay, if you want to get these Kutzall burrs, just go to the description down below. Use code CFusion. Take you to the Kutzall site. Use code CFusion. You save yourself 5%. Okay, bye. All right, so you can see there I got my cabin drawn on it. First, I want to do a side view so you see the slope of the roof. Then I said, no, I'll make it so you can see the roof so you can see the shingles. So now this is about layering, like I said. So here's the ground. Here's a path coming out of the door. Here's some trees, if you want to call them trees. But what I'm going to do now is I got this. This is one of those cheap cheap. Come on, Jordan. Cheap Chinese burrs. Okay, they're in my Amazon store. The 3 cutters. They get dull super fast on hard woods. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut around everything on the outside of the lines. Okay, and then it's the most boringest part. I'm going to remove all the wood where on the outs, like in here. I'm going to take this wood, push it back. So these trees are sticking out closer, okay? And then, so one thing that I want to, what would be the word? Empathize. The word I want to focus on, the thing I want to focus on is removing the wood in here. When I push it back, so it doesn't look round, so it doesn't look like there's a cut mark in there. I see it done so often. And your carvings will be so much better if you push it back so it looks like it's flush back there. So it doesn't look like this was carved in. You see a big dip right here, big cut mark, right? So that's, anyways, enough talking. Let's get carving. I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, so I got my dust collector fan going. Everything's live, and I'm going to carve it live for a few minutes here, just to show you how I do the cuts. if I can find the right foot pedal. Yes, this is hooked up to a foot pedal just for on off. It's not for speed control. So see how I got the whole thing cut out? The whole cabin cut out? Now I'm going to do the trees. Then I'm going to put on a different burr to remove all this wood here. Make the cabin really pop, the smoke pop, everything pop. It's just a 2D carving. Alright, so you can see all my lines are cut in now all the way around the piece. So now what I said is I don't think I'm a pro. I'm just trying to explain things to the very beginning wood carvers the way I learn things. So now I got to remove all this wood. There's a bunch of different burrs you can use. I'm going to use my favorite Kutzall burr right here. This is Kutzall Extreme Flame Burr. You can use one like this. This is a reverse taper burr. You can get it. You can just go like this with it flat on the face. There's that saw burr too, but I don't have it. You got a flat burr like this. I think this is a Typhoon burr. You go like this, right? Or you got these cheap metal cutting burrs. See, it's got a cutter on the bottom. If it can zoom in, got a cutter on the bottom there, and you can do it going like that way too, right? So, but I might use one of these burrs after. But what I'm going to do first of all is quickly remove the wood outside of everything and take it down. If I think it needs to be pushed back more, I may switch off to one of these burrs. But I'm not going to waste your guys' time showing me taking all this wood away because it takes a long time. It's super boring. But the farther that you take it back and make it so there's not a bump inside there, the better it's going to look for this kind of 2D carving. And so like I'm going to give you an example up here of what, in my opinion, you should and shouldn't do. Okay, so I'll show you the cut bump, then we'll remove the cut bump and feather it all away, make it look like this hasn't even been carved in. Okay, so let's do right here, like I said. It's hard to do on video because I got to hold this piece, it's wobbly. Let's get some better lighting here. Okay, so this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So when you're doing a 2D carving like this, you're trying to fool the mind. You're trying to give it a full three-dimensional aspect, but you're just looking at it from a front point, right? But so you see this here? See this bump right here? Where's the thing? This bump right here. Now if you look at that, you can tell that this was carved out because you can see a bump all the way around. You can't really see it too much on the TV, on your screen or whatever. But what I suggest to everybody, keep removing this wood. Make it flat in the background because then you're not going to get any bump in there. Remove all this wood. So it's nice and flat back there so you don't see it cut out. That's the best way I can explain it. When I say pet peeve, I mean like I speak for myself when I got a finished carving and I realize I can see the cut marks. So here you can see no cut marks. I can still take some more off right up around here so it doesn't look roundish. But here, cut marks. See that bump in there? Here's a good example right here. I got to take all this wood, push it back, make it flat back there so it doesn't round out. Because if it looks round right in here, you can tell that this has been cut here and then it's just round. push it flat back. I'm speaking for myself. Okay. 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 So let's see if we can see any cut bumps. That's good there. I'm not going to. It looks pretty good. So basically all the cut bumps are gone. That's just rough cedar. That's a color change in the cedar there. I don't think I'm going to undercut this. I'll give it a wood burn. So there's been a subscriber that commented on one of my videos, and I'm not going to say any names, but he's a chainsaw carver, wood carver, and he says I shouldn't say I don't care on my videos because, well, he says it kind of bothers him. When I say I don't care on my videos, I care how all you are doing. I care that you guys are learning from my videos, and I'm learning at the same time. But for example, here, like, am I going to put a door here, and a window, or just a window, or just a door? So I did have a path carved out here, so pretend I'd have a door there, but then I says, nah, the door can be that way. So let's see, I just don't really care. So let's put a window there. And the window is not even really that square, because this is an old miner's cabin, or logger's cabin. And well, I just don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care that it's not perfect. Okay, got everything cut in, the windows cut deeper, and let's look for cut lines. So everything just comes off smooth here, no bump. But what I'm going to do, because it's really hard to get in back here, it's pretty deep, like I'd say a good inch, and like stuff up there. Instead of trying to carve it out, what I'm going to do is just I'm going to burn the background really deep. I want this to be like a night scene, right? So I got this butane torch. It's a benzomatic. This is a pretty good little torch. I wish I had my bigger one here, but with this small torch, I can burn inside there really deep, and it will burn all the burns away. You just have to make it like kind of that alligator skin thing. Just burn it deep so you see the wood gets like hot coals, red hot coals. All right, so I got it burnt real deep in there. I burnt everything. I'm going to give this whole piece a sanding, but I just want to suggest this little butane torch, benzomatic. It's a super good torch, and it's got a high heat. It's got a high heat tip, and it lets you get inside the little spots like this. And yeah, it's pretty easy to fill. Just put the butane in the bottom. It stands up, and there you go. Bada bing, bada bang. So now what I'm going to do is two different stages. Here I got some Scott-Brite on the sanding mandrel. Okay, so this stuff's 3M, but you can buy this stuff from the dollar store, but it doesn't last too long. So if you go to your local Audi Botto shop, you can get this stuff, and it's better than the dollar store stuff, or the green stuff that you get at your like food store. Then I'm gonna do the Scotch-Brite in the background to keep it dark, because this is not a sander, this is just a buffer. So you'll see the wood grains pop. Then I'm going to go along with this sandpaper. I think this is emery cloth. I believe it's 80 grit. I'm going to hit the cabin. Try not to hit the window. The cabin, the trees, the smoke, and try and make that stuff really pop and keep the background darker by not sanding it and using that Scotch-Brite. I'm not going to film this, but let's see what it looks like when I'm done. You see that bump above the roof and below the J? That's what I'm talking about, a cut mark. Well, Jordy, if you're going to spray it with this Rust-Oleum matte clear, it's going to go so dark. Well, I don't care. Whoa, look how dark it's going. And do you know why I just don't care? Here's why. Okay, so this is why I said I just don't care, because I knew if I sanded it, I could make it brighter. I also pulled out my wood burner, burned the shingles, burned some boards on there. This is just a cheap Amazon burner. It's in my Amazon store. I like it. It works good. You can throw it around and it won't break. So, about me saying that I don't care. Well, I do care, but I don't. And when I say I don't care, I mean I don't care. And the subscriber that made that comment on the videos, I'm not poking fun of you. I'm not jabbing at you. Thank you for the support. But when I say I don't care, I actually mean I just don't care. Okay? So anyways, like in here, see there behind the tree where I got the undercut? Don't worry about burning back deep in there, because if you're going to try and keep burning it and burning it and burning it, you're going to burn away detail on your tree, like you see what happened right there, because I tried to burn there. All you need to do is get a brush, paint some black paint in there, burn on top of it. When you do your buffing, it will buff out and you won't even see that white line in there. Let me try and show you another example. Right in here. See that line? Just get your black brush and dry brush some paint in there, burn it, and then it will totally won't look like paint. So this is a good idea to gift to somebody that's got a cabin. I'm going to keep this in my bedroom for a while, because I'm going to dream about having my own cabin and I can just recluse myself from the world. And yeah, just hide out in my cabin, find some wood, carve some wood. You can also paint this window yellow so it looks like there's a light on. You can even put a light in this window so the light comes on. You can paint this orange and red and yellow so it looks like fire. You can paint the bricks on the chimney gray. You can paint the trees green. You can paint all these rocks red and black. There's so much stuff that you can do. You can carve a little quarter sun up here. Just have fun. That's what it's about. This video is probably way too long, so we'll say Carving Fusion, over and out. Just don't care. I don't care. Do you care? I don't care. Who does? Maybe you do. I don't. But sometimes I do. Most times I do, but sometimes I don't.